So, hello and welcome to the Cancer Support Mindfulness session for today, the 14th of May, 2025. Today, we're on Zoom, so we have our participants who are just setting up at the moment at home. So, while I'm doing this introduction as well, if you're watching on a recording, it's a good time for you just now to just settle into where you want to practice. Maybe today you feel like lying down might suit you, or sitting in a chair. So just kind of even take a moment and close your eyes and go, what would really be best for me today? Um, and then you can get yourself organized while I do a little bit of an introduction. So today, we're really going to, if you want, think about knowing and acknowledging. Knowing and acknowledging. Um, because knowing and acknowledging in a mindful way is just to recognize the experience that we're living while we are living it. And it's kind of interesting. We've just had a bit of a discussion, but when you're going through a journey with cancer, very often we're all focused on um, the things that we have to do. We have a never ending list of appointments and treatment and side effects, and it becomes like I've just got to get through this, and you're so focused on that you don't have time to give space to the acknowledgement of what you're going through, and a recognition of your own perhaps emotional responses as you do. So knowing and acknowledging is a very important part of what will lead to eventually a sense of healing or well-being mentally within you, and a kind of better relationship with yourself and your body as you go through this experience. So knowing and acknowledging is our theme today. And I'll drop some things to do with that into our meditation. The practice itself will be, as always, a settling in through mindfulness of posture and breath, and then a connection with body, and through that, an awareness of any thoughts or emotions that might arise as we connect to different parts of the body. And I think most of you who follow the videos or who join the sessions know this very well, but just in case somebody's picking up this video at some point in the future and watching for the first time, you have to be careful when you're practicing to take care of your own well-being. So if I'm doing some guidance during this practice and you realize it's taking you somewhere that's just a little bit too difficult, or that feels a bit overwhelming, then absolutely just take a step back. You don't need to follow the guidance. Just go back into feeling your breathing, or feel your body in contact with the surface, and just focus on that in your practice and look after yourself. And then when you feel a bit stronger or a bit more resilient, you can then maybe dip back into the guidance, and really just manage how deeply or how lightly you follow the practice, depending on how you're feeling. Okay. And so hopefully that introduction has given you all time to find all the blankets or cushions or glasses of water that you need, and a nice place to sit down or lie down. So let's begin our practice. So coming into our mindfulness practice through a connection with the physical sensations of being. A connection with the physical sensations of being. And as we arrive into practice, this sense of letting go of the world of doing, the world of planning and getting things done, noticing the beginnings of this transition to a place where we have nothing to do right now, a space simply to be aware, to observe, to notice, to connect to our lived experience. And we might begin by connecting with perhaps places where the body is supported by a chair or a bed or a mat. So turning attention inward, there will be a sensation perhaps in the feet, the legs, the back, where we feel the weight of the body received and supported by a floor, a chair, a bed. And turning attention there, just curious to maybe noticing the different parts of the body that are in contact. And then maybe the nuances of pressure. Perhaps some places the body's weight is held more, and in others a little bit less. So we know whatever we're feeling today, whatever's going on in our lives right now, during this practice, you are held secure. Your body's weight is supported, and you have a space where you have absolutely nothing to do but rest and just open awareness to what is here. Right? Another way we can connect to now is just by connecting to the hands. Whether your hands are on your thighs, or maybe if you're lying down, you've got them by your side or over your chest. Just let's sense into the hands and notice where they are. Just be curious to what we feel in those hands. So at any time during our practice, if you need a little break from the guidance, you've always got the opportunity just to reconnect to where your body is held and supported by the bed or the mat or the chair. Return to those points of contact. Just check in with how they feel. Remember that you're supported and grounded. Or you can come back to your hands. Just sense into how your hands are feeling, what's going on with them. And if it's okay for you today, let's see if we can connect now with our breathing. And the goal here is not to change the breathing in any way, rather just to notice the movement of breathing as we feel it in the body today. You might feel it today in the belly. Maybe sometimes we feel the movement in the chest, and sometimes even the nose where the air's going in and out, or the mouth, or sometimes even through the throat. So in inviting a curiosity, really, where and how can we notice the movement of breathing in the body right now? And it doesn't really matter whether your breathing today is fast or slow, or whether it's deep or shallow. All that's important is that you just feel the movement of that breathing and notice what happens as you observe that movement of breathing. Often, what happens is we drop into a place where the mind begins to wander. Suddenly, we realize we're not following the breathing anymore. We're thinking about something, we're doing some planning, or we're reminded of something, or a little story comes up. We begin to connect maybe to the emotional energy, and it begins to bring up stories of what we need to plan or what we've just been through. So, in our practice, when that happens, it's perfectly normal, right? But when we're aware of it, we have a choice. We can sit with it for a while, notice the thinking, but we also have the choice just to let that thinking go. And for now, come back to just feeling the physical movement of the next in breath, the next out breath. Just give ourselves a little break, even for 30 seconds from thinking. And for that time, just simply to just be with the movement of in breath and out breath. So in our mindfulness practice, we have this exercise where we could sit for a whole hour on the breath, and every time the mind wanders, just go, well done for noticing how easily the mind wanders, and well done for letting go of thinking and just coming back to the breathing. And we could just do that forever, noticing the mind wander, bringing it back to breathing. So now we have this awareness of where our attention is. We've got a little bit more freedom in what we do with our practice. So the invitation now, if you want to follow this, is to widen the curiosity towards the rest of your body and just ask your body, what is asking for attention today? Where in my body is asking for attention today? And really, without words, we kind of ask that question. We let it drop into the body. Where in the body is asking for attention today? We just let that question sit in the body. We rest with our breathing. And eventually, you'll feel a sensation somewhere in the body. And it will draw your attention. Instead of looking for, allow it to come to you. And when it does, we can know what we're feeling. We can acknowledge that sensation. And if it's okay in our own way, we could even just turn curiosity towards knowing that sensation just a little bit more. We could ask, where is it located? Is it in the legs, the arms, the back, the front, the head? So where is it in your body that's really pulling your attention today? And this could be a pleasant sensation as much as an unpleasant. It could be anything that the body wants you to be aware of today. Could be a sensation on the skin or something deeper inside the body. So we could ask, where is this felt? On the surface? Does it go deep into the body? Is it in the bones or the tissues or the skin? And usually a sensation has a certain intensity. Is this sensation quite strong or more subtle? As we turn towards this, there might be a very strong emotional reaction of liking or disliking what we're feeling. If this is a pleasant feeling, maybe a wish that this could stay forever. And if this is an unpleasant, perhaps we can recognize this natural reaction that we want to get rid of or resist what we are experiencing. So, can we acknowledge and recognize the emotional reaction to what we're finding in the body? Knowing that all emotions are fine, right? We're human beings and we have, all of us, a huge range of emotional energy. And often held in the body, in our bones and muscles and skin, there is that emotional energy within our experience, just waiting to be recognized and acknowledged so that it can then process and heal. As we sit with the body and these physical sensations, perhaps different parts of the body call for our attention. Because being human, at any one time, we have all these different layers of experience. So as we sit, just curious to hear what the body has to say, maybe it draws our attention to one thing and then to another. So just allow the body to say, oh, just pay attention to this, please. And then maybe a few minutes later it says, okay, now come and pay attention to that. Notice all the different sensations that might be coming into awareness. And for each one, we can go back through, where's it located? Is it in a specific spot or part of the body? And does this have a particular character of sensation? Is it a tingling, a buzzing? Does it have a warmth or a coolness to it? Is there a pulsing, or just really, what are the details of the sensation, all the different layers within it? Maybe as you breathe, there's like changes and things that change in intensity, or and around all of this, what's the reaction that's coming from your emotions? Is there a sense of like or dislike? Is there a sense of acceptance or resistance? And then perhaps stronger, like just physically felt emotions. Sometimes we can feel great joy or great sadness, anger, frustration, or sometimes they're just very light emotions that are lingering in the background. So, whatever's here emotionally, if possible, can we just acknowledge the rise and the fade and the bubbling of those emotions too? And remember, they've always got the breath to come back to if you need a little break and just a place to rest in the practice. And eventually, maybe a new sensation will call your attention. And if you want, you could go back and explore that. Now, around our practice, you might notice some thinking. Maybe being with a particular sensation might bring up a memory, a recent memory of treatment, or maybe a longer memory of a time before treatment. Or it might bring up a projection into the future of what might happen. So, can we just recognize first that thoughts are only thoughts? They're not facts. And they're often very closely related to our emotions. But where does the mind go when you sit with certain sensations from the body? If you can observe that without getting too tangled up in the actual details of the thinking, it's sometimes useful to just acknowledge those thoughts as well. It's perfectly normal for the human mind to reflect on the past and to try and imagine what might happen in the future. So just acknowledge the natural workings of the human mind as well. A useful way to relate to thinking is like imagining you're sitting at a bus stop and you can see all these buses driving past. They might even stop right in front of you, but you don't have to get on the bus. You can just observe them. So we observe these thoughts driving around. You can even observe maybe what's written on the bus. This is sadness. This is a worry. This is planning. This is a regret. This is a judgment. But then we just watch that bus drive on, and we're still sitting here in our practice, the observer of thinking, rather than the being caught up or sitting on the bus itself. And if you do get caught up in thinking, we know how to let that thought go and come back to the next in breath, the next out breath in the body, right back to this present moment. And we just rest here and then wait for a new sensation in the body to start our practice over. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to pick up on a few thoughts from a book that I've been reading. It's called Heal Thyself. It's got a foreword from John Kabat-Zinn, who's the founder of Western mindfulness, secular mindfulness. And it's lessons on mindfulness in medicine. Um, but actually what's in here is universal because everybody hits difficult and challenging times. Healing can be emotional as well as physical. So what's in here applies to everybody. But knowing and acknowledging your experience is key to healing. But we'd have to do this in a very gentle way because often as we're going through a period of treatment, that can be very depleting on our energy, on our emotional strength. So we have to really just be very gentle in how we turn towards our experience. Know when to turn towards and know when you've had enough and you just want to let it go for a while and, just do something to distract yourself and entertain yourself. But sometimes when we're in a difficult journey, particularly when you're going through some difficult treatment, there can be a sense that this is your suffering to carry on your own shoulders, and somehow this is all you. Yeah, we can really feel like the whole world is against us. So in a way, that's true. This is our own unique personal experience, but it can be maybe useful to know that all living things have challenging times, and all sentient beings, all mammals in particular who have a sense of emotional awareness it's all part of our lived experience that we have times when life feels good and times when life feels difficult. So acknowledging that the difficulty is a normal part of life. We haven't done anything wrong, right? Nothing that we have done has caused this to happen. It's just part of life that sometimes we go through difficult times. By acknowledging that, by recognizing that, first of all, we can recognize our own strength and our own courage, right? Because to walk through difficult times requires strength and courage. So we can acknowledge that. Yeah. In this book, they even call it walking the path of the hero. So within your experience, can we also, around the difficulty or within it, can we also connect to that part of you that is strong and courageous and walking the path of the hero? And in our practice together, we're all connected because all of us know from times in our life, past or present, that everybody knows what it's like to face difficulty, to feel emotionally or physically exhausted and depleted and challenged. And so by being here in our practice, we know that we're not alone, right? Our human experience connects us together and we support each other. And the third key point that's coming out of this book is that whether it's a period of illness or change or circumstances that bring people to that point where they know that this is difficult, through that, all of us, everyone who's human, knows that we have within us the capacity to connect to what is really important in life. And very often, at times of difficulty, we become even more aware of what is really important in life, the essential essence of what it means to be alive, to be human, to be you. So, when connecting to body today and emotions and thoughts, let's finish our practice with maybe 5 minutes to connect to your inner essence, that energy within you that is alive and strong, important, a sense of being whole. Okay, I'm going to start this 5 minutes by reading a poem. The poem's by Dorothy Hunt, and it's called Peace is This Moment Without Judgment. Do you think peace requires an end to war, or tigers eating only vegetables? Does peace require an absence from your boss, or your spouse, or yourself? Do you think peace will come some other place than here, some other time than now, some other heart than yours? Peace is this moment without judgment, and that's all. This moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be some other way, that you should feel some other thing, that your life should unfold according to your plans. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. So let's finish our practice with just 5 minutes, not with any guidance, just to connect to the essence of what is you right now, and a sense of knowing and acknowledging that living energy that is within you and your experience right now. We can bring our practice towards a finish by recognizing also if we have come across anywhere in the body today that feels tense or uncomfortable, or any difficult emotions or thoughts, we can end our practice by just sending some softness and kindness and care towards those places within us. Some self-compassion and love. We can imagine breathing in that kindness and allowing it to just circulate around the body, to reach all those places that need a little bit of kindness and a little bit of care. Sense of nourishing ourselves with warmth and softness and well-being. So let's finish by just, first of all, recognizing, give yourself a little pat on the back and say, well done. Well done for being here today. Well done for your practice and for your connection with yourself, your body, your emotions. Well done for that moment of self-care and compassion. And also gratitude for being here for each other, knowing that we're not alone and that we support each other as a community here. So thank you for being here for everyone else who's practicing today. And know that we are all here for you as well. So let's just begin maybe to bring some movement into fingers and toes as a way of transitioning out of this formal part of our practice. Maybe ask the legs or arms if they want to move or stretch as we come to the end of the practice. And then opening your eyes. Okay, and taking in the world around you, the room, surroundings, the light coming in the window. And when you're ready, I'm going to end the recording here. When you're ready, we can just come back to have a little chat, if you like, about today's practice. And for you who's on the recording, you might want just to do a little journaling about what you've come across, if anything's come up in your thinking or your experience of today's practice.